Now consider the case when the limit of the function does not exist. So let's say you have h of x equals square root of x, and our a is 4, or we let the values of x approach 4. So using table of values, let's look at the behavior of the function when the values of x are less than 4. And we'll also see the right-hand side. So if you observe the values of the function as x gets closer and closer to 4 from the left, or from values of x that are less than 4, we see that the function values are getting closer and closer to 2. So we say that the limit of h of x as x approaches 4 from the left is equal to 2. On the right-hand side, we also see that as the values of x moves from 5 down to 4, the values of the function moves getting closer to 2. So you say that the limit of h of x, or the limit of square root of x as x approaches 4 from the right, is equal to 2. Since the left hand and the right hand limits are both equal to 2, then we say that the limit of h of x, or the limit of the square root of x as x approaches 4, is equal to 2. Now how about if our a is 0, or when we let the values of x approach 0? Again, we'll use the table of values. So if we take values of x that are less than 0, remember this is a square root. The argument, or the values of x, should always be positive. Otherwise, we'll get an imaginary value for the square root. So since we are dealing with real numbers, then we say that the limit of square root of x as x approaches 0 from the left does not exist. On the right, we see that as x moves from 0.1 down to 0.00001, or as x moves closer and closer to 0 from values that are greater than 0, we see that the function values also move down to 0. So we say that the limit of square root of x as x approaches 0 from the right is 0. But since the left-hand limit does not exist, even if the right-hand limit exists, then the limit of square root of x as x approaches 0 does not exist. So when does the limit not exist? The limit of f of x as x approaches a does not exist if the limit as x approaches a from the left is not equal to the limit of f of x as x approaches a from the right. It could also be that one of the limits does not exist.